Hello, glorious humans. Wop, 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 wop. Today on Leonie Dawson refuses to be categorized, I'm going to give you like a snippet into a day in the life of Leonie, if that's of fucking interest to you. I'm always fascinated by how people spend their days and their lives, so fuck it, why not? So this is how that rolls. So Monday to Friday, my kids are at school, usually, if we're not in isolation. We did homeschool for 3 years, which was lovely. It was intense, also lovely. And now they're at a small independent school, and that we've been really happy with. So that's groovy. So we usually wake up about 6:30 in the morning. Now I will either have the next hour with the kids and my husband as they get ready and we talk shit before the day begins. Sometimes a couple of mornings a week I have either an interview or like an e-course call, like if I'm doing a live round of a course that I'm doing. So if I'm being interviewed by a podcast, and then this week I've got my Get Shit Done Club call and a open office hours for everybody who's in my courses. Plus I'm doing a live round of my 40 days to create and sell your e-course, which is super fun. It's a little bit busier, however, than I usually do, because I usually have a couple in the mornings. And I also have an onboarding call for a new Facebook ad agency that I'm working with. So my mornings are busy this week. Usually they're not so busy. But anyway, the calls go for about 45 minutes to an hour. I finish up, and by that time my kids are ready to go to school. So then we drive the kids to school together. And it takes we're about 20-25 minutes from school. If the traffic's a little bit busier, maybe 30 minutes. And that's groovy. We live on acreage, so we're kind of out of town, so it takes us a little bit to drive through, but it's a kind of a lovely drive because we're driving most of the way along rivers and waterways, and so it's quite pretty views. And usually we'll go back to the river after we drop the kids off, and we'll go for a walk. So we drop the kids off at school. I walk them in usually, depending on COVID times, because they're still, the youngest is still little and is still settling in. And then we'll usually go for a little walk along the river, and or if we're in the mood, we'll go for a walk along the beach. At the moment, I'm recovering from a back injury. I have a prolapsed disc in my lumbar, and I dislocated both my hips just from walking. Lols, just from walking, because I have a condition called hypermobility, which means my joints are too loose, and so my bones dislocate way too easily. So I managed to do that. So I've got like a 4-month recovery process. So at the moment, I'm not allowed to walk on the beach, which is a red hot fucking bummer, because it's too much movement. But I can walk alongside the river because it's nice and flat, and it's not going to move my hips and pelvic bowl around too much. So there you go. I know you weren't expecting to hear pelvic bowl today, but there you are. Anyway, after that, we'll usually run errands. So we'll either go to the grocery store together, or we'll go to Bunnings to get some shit for the house, to do some renovation, or do something around the yard, because we're on nearly 2 acres. So there's always something that needs doing. And then we'll head home, and we spend a lot of the morning together. We just talk and make out. Space that we make out. It's really lovely. This is the first year, and it hasn't been a really full year, but it's the first time in 10 years that me and my husband have actually had regular time to ourselves, because before then we had small children or were homeschooling. So this is the first year that we've actually had time to ourselves. And honestly, it feels fucking spectacular, truth be told. It's amazing. So I'm happy that my girls are happy at school, and I love that I get to just have undivided time with him to talk and to reflect upon his levels of attractiveness, which is very hot. I still find him ridiculously hot, guys. And every time I look at him, I just think, oh, yeah. It's been 20 years. I don't think I'm ever going to get over it. Like, my eyes just feel so happy when they look at him. I just think, oh, yeah. So it feels like like a kind of a romance, like a honeymoon romance to have him to myself again for, a few hours each day. It feels like a really lovely thing. Then we might pot around and do a couple of jobs together, tidy the house, or we just dug out. There's a near our water tank, because we're on acreage, so we have a sewage system, and we also have like our own kind of bioseptic sewer system, and we also have our own water tank, so we collect all of our own rain, and we have solar power and stuff like that, so we're kind of edging towards more self-sufficiency, which is groovy. But it all takes a little bit of work, so we've been digging out and repatching some of the parts in the tank, which is fun. I like doing stuff like that. And then about midday or so, I'll toddle off to the office and get some stuff done, and get some work done for 2 hours or so. And Chris will either work on stuff for me. So at the moment, he's working on putting together the workbooks for the next year, for 2021. And we'll probably have some more products out as well. Woo woo! And so he does all of the layout and InDesign for me, which is super fucking helpful. I do kind of all of the writing, the editing, and illustrations, but he does the layout, which is super handy. And then he also, just does his own stuff as well while I'm working away. In terms of what I work on, it really depends on the day. I do try and be kind of hyper fixated on some kind of project where I can, because I tend to have better success that way when I can be fixated on something. So this week it's the workbooks. Last week I had a rest week, which was nice. I probably have them about 4 times a year, but it was nice. I just felt really cool just to being at home. What was I working on beforehand? Or I think it'll either be like a course launch, or bringing, a new marketing activity, or creating new lead magnets and opt-ins. Or even trying to solve a problem. So I decided I wanted to be on more podcasts. And so I did kind of an activity where I got myself booked out on podcasts for the next year or so. I've got another project I want to work on, which is my affiliate program, which is where you can sign up to be one of my affiliates, share about my work with a special link, and then you get paid 50% of my enrollments. I only have just recently reopened this. Previously, it was massively successful and massively popular, and I was giving out about $400,000 in affiliate fees each year to people who were sharing about my work, which was so super cool. And then I took some time off to kind of re-simplify and recenter myself, and close it down, but now it's reopened. I'm like, right, okay, so how do I want to rebuild that up and make it a really great income stream for all my affiliates again? So that'll be another project that I'll work on. So today is a Monday, and I know I've got to get through a bunch of the workbook stuff this week and next week. So I really wanted to make sure that I got kind of all of my admin stuff out of the road today. So what that meant is had to put together details for an export market development grant, which helps to pay for Facebook ads. So if you're a Australian business earning over a certain amount, if you export significant, so if you're selling to overseas markets, you may be eligible for the Export Market Development Grant, where they help to pay for marketing costs and stuff like that, because the Australian government wants Australian businesses to sell overseas, of course. So it's worthwhile looking that one up and see if you would qualify for it. So I did that, the grant. I'm just about to join the Entrepreneurs Organisation as well, as a learning activity. So booking in some of their dates. I needed to get back to my accountant about some stuff. I needed to do some onboarding for a new Facebook ads company that I'm going to start working with and see if they're a good fit. And some podcast production, and then I assigned a whole bunch of tasks to my assistant as well. So I have one part-time virtual assistant who I've never met, but she's great. She's worked with me for years. And so I just chuck that all into Asana, which is our project management system. We were for ages just doing it by emails and Facebook Messenger, but thought I'd get my shit together a little bit more this year. We started using Asana a couple of months ago. So that's been handy. And now I've finished up work. We had Mr. Sewer Man come and visit us to decide on a new bio-safe system for us. And I have toddled off to go get the kids and pick them up from school. And then I'll have the afternoon with them, talk shit with them, and that will be splendid. And then they usually go to bed around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'll read a book to them. I'll make dinner in the process. We use HelloFresh for our meals. I was using U-Foods, which is like pre-made food, which was also kind of a better option than, eating a lot of takeaway, because I can't be fucked cooking once more. But then I started trying out HelloFresh, where they give you the ingredients. It's like Blue Apron or whatever it is in the US. And I really like it. I also used Marley Spoon, and they were great as well. I like trying out different meals. And in some ways, it's kind of like a cooking class. Like, I feel like, what do I get to learn how to make this week? This is exciting. So it's actually the first time in my life I like to cook, and I feel like I can cook now. So thanks, guys. I wish that it was more organic and had a bit less packaging and had a better way to reduce the carbon miles. So that's a downside to it. However, there's no fucking food waste whatsoever. So, just trying to work out what's the most sustainable option, and also what's the most sustainable option for us, because I can't be fucking perfect at everything. So that's my thoughts on that. And then once the kids are in bed, then me and Chris have the evening to ourselves. I might do a little bit more work on my computer, or I'll make art, or in my art journal, or I'll watch Farmer Wants a Wife and quite intensely read all of the fucking recaps and tweets about it, because that's how I live my life. And I head to bed around 9 o'clock, read for about an hour or so, and then I finish up. And then I, get my 8 hours sleep or so, 8.5 hours sleep at least. And then I'm ready to roll again for the next day. Weekends are a little bit different, but I'll have to tell you about that another day, because my kids are about to come out. This has been really fun. I love you guys. Hope this has been useful. I'm sending you so much love, and may you make your magic happen today, as always. All right, bye.